Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to another Blood Splattered vlog. I just got back from Sausage Party, the new movie by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who, for those of you who don't know, are the two men behind The Interview, This Is the End, and even The Night Before. All three of which are some of my favorite comedies from the last few years. And holy shit, we could totally add this movie to that list because this movie is fucking amazing. It's raunchy, it's offensive, it's fucking insane! Like, there are points in this movie where I was legitimately shocked and appalled in the best ways possible at how far it goes. And I haven't felt that way with an American animated movie since Team America. In fact, Trey Parker and Matt Stone is actually a really good comparison with this movie. Because sitting in the theater and just letting this movie wash all over me with its fucking semen-y goodness actually reminded me a lot of the first time I saw South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Which, by the I was a little kid when I saw that, and it was a mind-blowing experience. And so was this movie. And I also hope that little kids see this movie too. In fact, the other thing this movie reminded me of was the first time I played Conker's Bad Fur Day. Because much like Conker, Sausage Party is filled to the brim with many cinematic references. And part of the joke is they're doing these classic cinematic references, but with an absurd setting. In Conker's case, it was in a platformer video game with a cute animal mascot. And in this case, it's in a supermarket with food products. Have you ever wanted to see Saving Private Ryan parodied by a fucking talking food movie? Then this is the movie for you! And that's not a spoiler, by the way, that part is actually in the trailer. And honestly, I don't want to spoil too much about this movie because, like, what is the point of spoiling a comedy? Like, part of the fun is the jokes. If I just retell them to you, then they're not going to be as funny when you see them. But to keep it spoiler-free for now, this movie actually has a really great message. Like, at its core, this movie's actually a satire of religion itself. And you can even see that in the trailers, how they see humans as gods, and that these gods are going to take them to the promised land, i.e. the checkout aisle, and that beyond the promised land lies, well, promise. Except not really, because as we all know, we fucking eat food. So in reality, the promised land is actually a horror movie. A super fucking violent and fucking morbid as shit horror movie. Like, to the point, if this were people and not food products, this would have an X rating in no time flat. But over the course of the movie, these characters kind of learn to not rely on faith or chance, but instead to make their own destiny, to carve their own path, to live life as they need to. Which is a message that will no doubt rub some viewers the wrong way, but I fucking loved it. Anyway, at this point, I think I should probably just go into the spoilers because I'm slowly teetering on that territory as it is. So if you've liked anything I've had to say here, if you've liked the trailers, if you like the movies of Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, then this movie is a must fucking see. Especially if you want to see more R-rated animated movies. And with that all said, let's move on to the spoilers. Alright, so like I said earlier, you got these food products, they think we're gods, they think they're going to the promised land, but in reality, we're gonna fucking eat and kill them. Which leaves the question, where can the movie go from there? What can the food products do in the face of such overwhelming odds? What if I told you they could fight? And they could fuck! Like, no, seriously, there's like straight up a fucking Braveheart battle against the fucking human sequence in this movie. Oh, and by the way, this movie doesn't skimp out on the human deaths too. There's at least one pretty brutal decapitation. And I loved every second of it. And after the battle, there is a straight up orgy with all the food products. A fucking long ass orgy that, like, once again, if this were real people, this would have an X rating. Like, just no questions asked. But I fucking loved it because it is fucking hilarious. And I can't stress that enough. This movie's amazing. And yeah, it's filled with a lot of obvious food puns and stuff like that, but you know me, I am no stranger to the pun, and I have no qualms with them. But even if I had problems with puns, I don't think I would have a problem with this movie because they're so well done. Even when they're pretty obvious. Like, for example, Meatloaf is in this movie. Can you guess what kind of food product he is? Like I said, super obvious, but the moment he broke into song, I fucking lost it. I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. Actually, it turns out in this movie, they will do anything for love. Even take it in the ass. Man, like, the problem with talking about a really good comedy is that it's hard to talk about without just giving away all the best jokes. Which is something I really don't want to do because I love this movie and I want you to go see this. You hear me out there? See this movie. Fucking support it. It is amazing. Like, Jesus, man. I have not felt this good leaving a movie in a while, and I've seen a lot of good movies this year. I found this funnier than Deadpool, and Deadpool was fucking hilarious. But let's see. What can I address without giving away too much about the movie? Well, I could talk about Edward Norton, who was actually the biggest surprise for me in the movie. And I say surprise because I did not actually realize he was in the movie until the very end. Up until that point, I thought it was Woody Allen. In fact, now I kind of want a Woody Allen biopic starring Edward Norton, because he was that spot on in this movie. But even then, I'm singling out Edward Norton as being like one of the biggest highlights for me, but everyone was funny in this movie. Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Kristen, Wiig, even Danny McBride in his small role fucking was memorable as shit. Bill fucking Hader was awesome in both of his roles, and I didn't even realize one of them was him. Even Michael Cera is great in this movie, and I say this as someone who kinda got sick of him as time went on. I've always really loved Jonah Hill though. I know I'm just kind of repeating myself at this point, but I don't know how many ways I can just say this movie is fucking perfect. I have no complaints other than I want a sequel right fucking now. You hear me, Seth Rogen? I want a sequel. You better bring it to me within the next few years and not take fucking 10 years to do it like it took to make this movie. Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, this has been a really short vlog, mainly because I don't want to give too much away about this movie. So go see it, and when you do, comment below with your thoughts, because I'm legitimately interested in hearing what you have to say. And with that said, peace out, my fellow Gorehounds, and I'll catch y'all later.